3 signs you both secretly want each other, even without words. Psychology facts, deep and quietly honest. Imagine a room full of noise, phones buzzing, laughter spilling across a cafe, someone chopping vegetables in a distant kitchen. And then, like a seam of light, you notice 2 people who barely speak and yet seem to exist inside a private gravity. Their eyes meet and the noise thins. The world sharpens. There's no loud confession, no dramatic scene. Still, something between them hums with meaning. That hush, that invisible conversation, is what we'll unpack today. I'll take you through 3 unmistakable signs that you both secretly want each other, even when the words are absent. These signs don't shout. They whisper. They live in small acts, in timing, in the way the body remembers someone. If you listen closely, psychology tells us those whispers are as telling as any declaration. Ready? Let's listen. Subscribe now to Psych Secrets and be part of a journey where every video inspires you to see life with a new perspective. Sign 1. The silent synchrony. You move in the same beat. When 2 people want each other, their lives start to sync, unconsciously. You felt it. You and this person choose the same song, both laugh at the same second. You both pause when the other pauses. You reach for your coffee at the same time. You stand up when they stand up. The small, almost silly but consistent. That's silent synchrony. Why it matters, psychology whisper. Human beings are social rhythm machines. We mirror the people we trust and desire. Mirroring is ancient. It builds rapport, it lowers stress, and it makes 2 nervous systems hum closer. When mirroring becomes persistent, not occasional but habitual, it signals emotional attunement. Your nervous systems are practicing being together. Scene to read for voiceover, soft, close. Notice the way your footsteps find the same rhythm. You reach for your phone, and their laugh reaches you before the call connects. He reads the last line of your thought like a bookmark. You don't say it, your body say it for you. That mirror is an invitation. How this shows secret wanting. Mirroring often starts as comfort. But when it happens with the same person across contexts, at work, in a group, when stressed, when joyful, it becomes less about ease and more about orientation. You orient to each other first. That orientation is desire disguised as habit. Tiny test you can try, gentle. Next time you're together, notice if small actions match without planning. Push the chair back, sip your drink, stand at the same time. If it keeps happening across weeks, it's not coincidence. It's connection. Sign 2. The quiet prioritization. They show up, not always loudly, but consistently. Wanting someone is less about grand declarations and more about the architecture of attention. This is subtle and often overlooked. It's never the billboard gesture. It's the way they remember the small, specific detail that mattered to you, or the way they show up when the day collapses into a mess. It's not about being available for everything. It's about being there for the things that matter in surprisingly private ways. Psychology whisper. Attachment is about safe haven. People we want become safe havens if they show attuned responsiveness. That responsiveness doesn't require perfect words. A focused presence or a single remembered detail accomplishes the same chemical comfort. When someone prioritizes you, even privately, rearranging a plan because they knew you needed space, sending a message only you would understand, that's emotional currency. Voiceover vignette, intimate. Remember when you mentioned, almost in passing, that you like jasmine tea? A week later, it's on your desk. He doesn't announce it. He places it where only you will notice. That small, quiet act declares, I was listening. You matter to me. How it shows secret wanting. People spend emotional energy on what they care about. When someone invests scarce attention on you, shifts their schedule, remembers the odd fact you mentioned, removes a small barrier from your day, that's intentional energy. Desire often disguises itself as thoughtful troubletaking. What to look for, practical. They remember details others forget. They rearrange plans at short notice to help you, but without making a spectacle. They protect your privacy. They don't gossip about your small confidences. If these are consistent, the wanting is active even if unvoiced. Sign 3. The heavy silence. Presence in absence. Sometimes, desire shows in how absence feels. This one is the most poetic and the hardest to name. When someone matters, their absence carries weight. An ache in the chest, a constant metaphor in your day, a tension pulled like a string. But key here is reciprocity. It's not just you feeling it. You sense, in the way they respond to being apart, that they feel a parallel pull. Psychology whisper, longing is a social emotion. It's not a solo experience. When two people have mutual longing, their minds keep replaying each other, like two overlapped films. This rehearsal of memory and imagination is not empty. It reshapes choices and attention. The more you rehearse someone inwardly, the more likely you are to orient behavior toward them. Voiceover moment, slow, textured. You call their name in sudden silences. You find their handwriting in the margins of your day. And they, even without a torrent of messages, signal they've been thinking of you. A late-night text that matches your mood. A photo sent at the same hour you miss them. It's not constant. It's precise. It lands like a compass. How this shows secret wanting. Absence becomes meaningful when it changes behavior. If both of you notice the distance and act, by sending a note, by choosing to cross paths, by making space for each other, that's mutual wanting. The difference between missing someone and missing each other is that the ache calls for action, and the action finds its way back. A small experiment, brave but gentle. Create a tiny, safe absence, a day of light silence, then see who reaches across it and how. The person who gently threads back in, with a note that matches the tone of your private understanding, is likely carrying the same secret. How to move. If you want to gently shift from silence to saying, you don't need to flip a switch. Desire already exists in small veins. The trick is to translate whispers into a language both of you can accept. One that feels safe. Name the mirror. I've noticed we laugh at the same things. Keep it light. This isn't a confession. It's a shared observation that opens a door. Return the private priority. Mirror their small act of care. Bring back the jasmine tea. Make your attention meet theirs where they showed up for you. Respect the absence. If you sense longing, don't flood it with pressure. Offer presence. A message that recognizes the distance and invites a low-stakes reconnection. Thinking of you, that book you mentioned made me smile. Neutral, warm, and honest. A note on safety and heart care. Desire and attraction can be intoxicating, but they exist inside two complex people with histories, boundaries, and vulnerabilities. If any sign of wanting sits beside discomfort, if one person feels pressured, if there's avoidance that causes fear, then the loving thing is to slow down, hold boundaries, and protect emotional safety. Wanting is beautiful. Consent and kindness make it sacred. Final scene. A soft invitation. Picture a late evening. The city hums, the light is blue, and you, the listener, are holding a cup that warms your hands. Across the table, there is someone who doesn't need to announce their feelings with fireworks. Instead, they place a small thing in front of you. A note, a shared joke, an old song. Your eyes meet. The room contracts. You both understand without the clumsy machinery of words. That knowing is the heart of the three signs we talked about. The bodies that sink. The quiet attention that shows up. The shared ache that finds its way home. Desire doesn't always scream. Sometimes it remembers. Sometimes it shows up in the exact, careful way only two people can recognize. If you see these signs, if your life is threaded with this soft evidence, then know you're not alone in wanting. Subscribe now to Psych Secrets and be part of a journey where every video inspires you to see life with a new perspective.